mouse and keyboard versus controller, aim assist versus aimbot, sweaty rat versus little child. Hi, what's up everybody? I'm Yoko for YoKoGM, and today in this video I'm going to show you the differences between the mouse and keyboard, which one you should use for Warzone, and why it matters. All you beautiful people out there could go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Show your friends, your grandma, whoever can be interested in this kind of information, and let's get into the video. Okay, so first things first, let's go over mouse and keyboard, because typically, more often than not, that's the one that seems a little bit more controversial, and people think that there's a slight advantage. Now let's go with the appearance. With PC, you're automatically usually going to have a frame advantage, right? Especially if you have a high-end PC. The PS4s and the Xboxes just cannot keep up with the high-end PCs right now. At least right now. We can check it out on the new consoles coming out, but I still don't think they're going to be able to hit 180, 160, you know, so you're going to absolutely have an advantage on there. But we're talking about here, specifically. Okay, let's talk about the sensitivity, right? Because everyone knows mouse and keyboard has aimbot. Aimbot! Well, the truth is of the matter, aimbot is actually really hard to obtain and costs around 60 bucks a month. And to get good on mouse and keyboard, you will suffer. Like in a fighting game suffer. The curve is immense. And if you're going from Xbox or PlayStation or any other console, Wii, whatever, you know, Game Boy Color, and then going into mouse and keyboard, you are gonna find that no aim assist really hurts because you're really used to having it. Trust me, I made the switch. Took me about 3 months to kink it out. Now, but in itself, right, which one is better? Well, if you're gonna use the mouse and keyboard, I advise using a setup kind of like this. Having a higher sensitivity for your mouse, especially if you have a small mouse pad, but having a very low ADS. Now, what this does for you is it's going to let you whip your head around like you would in real life, but as soon as you ADS, you're gonna be able to really hone in on that target and just make micro adjustments. That's a big keyword you're gonna hear from mouse and keyboard, micro adjustments. WSAD, some other people on YouTube are really good at this. They make it look like they have aimbot just because of how flicky and how really crazy their aim is. It's really like pinpoint, but it's because they got all this figured out. Now going into the game, to try to give you a little example of some other perks that a PC might have, is something like peeking corners. Whereas a console player has the analog stick, it's really hard to do something like this where you're kind of micro peeking. You can try to look for that hold angle. So like for instance, if we're looking right there, you could kind of go right here and then kind of do something like this. It's just really hard to do that on console. That we need to be clear up first, and I am non-biased. I've played on console, played for amateur teams, I've played for professional teams. I've done a little bit of both. So I'm pretty familiar with the controller in itself, Xbox and PlayStation, respectively. Now as PC, I'm a little bit foreign to it, but right away I can tell you, from going back to it, everything feels a little sluggish. With PC, there's just a lot more fluidity, everything seems nice, and you can definitely tell when you go back to console. The games just are boarded differently, they're just not built for it. I'm averaging 200 frames right now. Now imagine a console player that's only averaging 60 or 65. Hell, let's even say they're averaging 100. That's still 100 frames less than what I'm getting right here. That's 100 frames less they have to react. That's a big advantage. So right off the top, and maybe one for mouse and keyboard. And now we talk about the fan favorite, the underdog, the undisputed champion, the controller. Well, it turns out controller really doesn't have that much of a disadvantage against PC. Now, again, like we said, they have their own advantages, and the big one for the controller is aim assist. Now, I know you're gonna hear people complain about aim assist. You're gonna hear them, oh, I've died about aim assist. Oh, PC players just wish they had aim assist. But it's actually kind of balanced. Now, I'll take Shroud's point of view, as he pointed out that they both have their own advantages and disadvantages, and I don't think they should be in competitive together. But for simple play or just for using Warzone, I really don't see that big of a dispute against it. The aim assist on controller is needed. You have a smaller range of motion, right? And it's really helpful to track people with the aim assist. If you've ever tried playing on console without it, it's foreign. It's ridiculous. It's like playing on a keyboard really, really small in a room filled with darkness. It sucks. So as you can see, I mean, even when I use my controller on Warzone, I kind of have the same point of view. I use a 12 horizontal vertical stick, and I use a very low sensitivity. Now, we do need to get this out of the way. Yes, there are hacks and cheats on Warzone and on PC, and usually those are pretty blatant, and everyone kind of disregards them. Tim the Tatman just done another Twitter video on him. The guy was just no-scoping people with the car. I mean, it's pretty apparent. But there's also something on console and controller that kind of goes undetected. Now, I'm not just talking about the XSIMs or anything else that makes the FAL automatic, but even something like a Dominator pack, which increases the aim assist, right? It actually makes it kind of aimbottish, where as soon as you lock onto someone, you're not going anywhere with your sight. As long as you can barely move your fragile fingers left and right, it's going to be a headshot. And then it also kind of takes advantage of the game's limitations or maxings from fire rate, like the FAL and the SKS. So, it is kind of an advantage. I mean, PC, you have to spend $60 to kind of do something like that, and you could just spend $20 and then pop in a USB cord for a controller. So, that's kind of favor for controller. Now, it doesn't mean everyone uses it, but it is there. Okay, personal preference. Well, if you like just sitting around, if you like sitting further away from the TV, you know, sometimes you don't want to be really sweaty, I think the controller it's like a comfort food because everything is so close, right? If you want to map something, like, it's just right there. All the buttons are right there. You don't have to stretch out your arms. You don't have to worry about your sitting position. You don't even have to worry about really close to the TV or the monitor. Everything's just so comfy and close. Now with the PC, everything's kind of spread out. You've got all these wires, you got the PC going. And if you don't even have a good PC, you've got this engine going like the PlayStation 4, you know, the jet engine. Everything's kind of spread out. It's a little bit more mechanical. Your fingers are spread out. It's a little bit more involved in that percentage. I will say, for me personally, I really love the controller. I've always loved the controller. I'll never not love the controller. It's like a first love for me. But when I switched from PC, I noticed two things. One, I sucked. Two, I sucked. And three, it was a lot more fun once I didn't suck, okay? I noticed, we did this pie graph. I was hitting 40% of all my shots on console for the first month. By the end of the third month, I was hitting 85% of my shots, and 65% of those shots were headshots. Now, this is talking about specifically snipers, because that's kind of what I do in Warzone. The advantage and the fluidity, the being able to track people, and just the freeness, the fastness of the mouse and keyboard is just, to me, it feels better. And when I go back to play to my console, it just feels sluggish. It feels clunky, like cottage cheese has been left out in the sun. It's just weird. Now, that doesn't mean that PC is automatically better. And again, like I said, they all have their own things that make them shine bright like a diamond. But for me personally, I'm going to go with the PC. There's more customization options. You can maximize it. You can get 200 frames. Maybe not in Warzone, but you can get it. You have a full experience. I have 3 monitors going. I have a Yeti. I have a Logitech wireless mouse. I have some weird keyboard. I got this big monster PC. It's a whole, just huge, just fucking thing, right? It's a thing. A console, it's kind of like a book. You can just throw it in a drawer when you're done. But this thing takes up space. I got a huge desk for no reason. Ranting aside, controller is great. If you want to be really competitive and prove yourself that you're the top of the food chain, go get a mouse and a keyboard. Use it on your console. Practice. Then save up some money, head over to my guys at CLX Gaming that I'm sponsored with, and buy yourself a PC. Get it for like 30, 40 bucks a month. You can even, just do payment plans, right? Have the experience. It's hard for me to explain to somebody who's never played on both competitively the advantages and disadvantages. But you should absolutely get a mouse and keyboard and practice it on your console. Once you get good with it, then play it on PC. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. You can take advantage of high refresh rate monitors. You can take advantage of higher frames. And overall, I think that puts PC a little bit ahead of the consoles for now. Now, with the new generation of the consoles, they may come out and be a lot more on par with some of these mid-tier to high-tier PCs. In my opinion, PC has the advantage. It's not necessarily for the aimbot accuracy, right? Because that really takes time. That muscle memory doesn't come easy. It's like jumping rope, but you're changing the rope every time. It's completely different. My point for PC to have the advantage is the frame advantage, the graphics, and everything else that comes with it. Sorry guys for the rant. I hope this video helped you in some way. If you'd love to see a settings video or anything else, please leave a comment down below. Know that we do stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday. We love playing with viewers and trying to get in there and teach them how to be better, and sometimes we carry them for a win. All right, I love you guys, and as always, stay fierce.